right, folks, welcome back to Rotten Rambling On. As always, I am your host, Jake.
I'm Sean.
And this time around, we thought we'd tackle something a little more closer to home. While we did enjoy the Jobs from Hell, and there was absolutely no research at all, other than going, I remember that day. Aside from that, we thought of something that kind of hits a little more closer to home. In that standing, we came up with cult classics for television.
That's right. It's back to the wheelhouse.
Exactly. So we had to break out the old research wagon. That one always hurts.
It's home. This is home. Go back to your home.
You're too good for your home. Yeah, no. But the basis, of course, this is an adult podcast. There will be adult language. So anyone under the age of 18 probably shouldn't be listening to this. But guess what? We won't bust you on it anyway. As long as your folks don't get upset with us.
All right. So, as my compatriot Jake said, we are going to tackle the topic of cult classic television in this particular instance.
Absolutely.
We've narrowed our focus. I know narrowing our focus on anything is antithesis to this show.
It does sort of defeat the purpose, doesn't it?
We are going to endeavor not to bleed over into other cult media sensations like movies or video games. We're going to stick to television franchises here. And actually, we're going to ramble on a little bit about some of our favorites in that genre. But, you know, really starting it out,
There are so many genres.
There are so many genres. No, actually, that's a good point, though. I mean, that brings up the topic to start. What exactly makes something a cult television show? Because a lot of people would argue that cult TV is now just a tagline for sci-fi fantasy genre programming, but it's not. It's not just limited to that.
Again, always in my interpretation, it was generally speaking what only a handful of people knew about, and they've done their level best to try to get out. I mean, I actually have what I would construe as already a decent example of that, and that's predicated the better chunk of my junior high adulthood.
Oh, we're going to
we're going that far back.
We're going to date ourselves.
Absolutely. Here. I'm throwing myself in the Wayback Machine. I have kicked Mr. Peabody in the groin. Sherman's been pitched out an airlock.
That seems fitting. I mean, Peabody's been in that chair licking his asshole for, 2 hours?
Yeah, I
submit to you.
Yeah, I know. It's like nothing more than an hour's attention.
That's right.
Well, at least you'd think whatever he's attempting to dislodge is like gone for good or there to stay. And if you get that movie reference, thanks, folks. I'm glad you're keeping up.
That's right.
But no, actually, in all intents and purposes, I'm touching base on what was created back from the dark formats. I believe they call this the Forbidden Forest, possibly Minnesota. Not sure which.
Oh, God, you're not going to talk about Twin Peaks, are you?
No, amusingly enough, it is not Twin Peaks. Though it did hail from the Twin Cities, Minneapolis, St. Paul, under the stand-up comedian Joe Hodgson. I'm talking about Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Oh, that's a classic movie.
Now, by that basis, you have what is construed as and even he will comp to this, that he was what he thought was a mediocre stand-up comedian with prop gags.
And that's very true.
Yeah, and he did his magic. Well, that's true. And he did magic acts and, what have you. And frankly, after seeing him a couple of times prior to doing MST3K, you're busily looking at him going, he looks sleepy. It looks like, I have done this routine more times than I care to admit. Here's a rabbit out of a hat. Fucking, I'm done.
Okay, I'm not going to lie. I have to confess. Back when I was first introduced to MST3K and he was hosting that show, I honestly thought
he looked stoned.
It was all stoner gags.
Oh yeah,
I confess, I judged based on looks alone. I'm like, it's a fucking show hosted by a stoner.
Absolutely, I
mean,
I agree too.
The whole damn thing.
Well, between the gigs, doing local comedy, his producer Jim Mallon, Tracy Babble, who you later get to know as Dr. Forrester, and wisecracking Crow T. Robot.
Oh yeah.
And the youngest of the alumni, of course, was stand-up comedian Josh Weinstein, who became Dr. F's previous, what was it, Dr. Labrat? Labrat? How do you pronounce it? Oh, excuse me. No, his character was Dr. Ehart. And he was just Dr. F's whipping boy. This is all precursor to TV's Frank.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so with that in mind, basically the whole story arc is Joel is a blue-collar worker at Gizmonic Institute. He gets shot up in space to the satellite of love by his bosses, Dr. F and
Really?
Dr. Earhart
The
as an
satellite,
experiment.
Yeah.
Now, the concept in question was to subject Joel to some of the most horrendous cheeseball flicks of ever B movie standing you could have. The concept in question was to see which one of them would make him snap, and that would be their main focus on how to take over the world.
So, really, if I'm understanding right, this was a scientific experiment to see how many B movies it would take to make a person insane.
Exactly. I've already been through it. I'm still here.
I was going to say, isn't that the essence of your blog
Yeah,
series
I think that is kind of the cusp of Rotten Reels reviews is just find the... Actually, in my case, I've always felt it's a crusade. I'm going to swathe my way through this just horrendous briar patch of shitty films and find a polished turd, possibly even a gem.
Yeah.
It will happen, and it has. Just not as frequent as one would like.
No.
From that same standpoint, though, you had... they had started this out on doing a local public broadcast back in '88 for KTAMA.
Yep.
So they're running this gig through Minneapolis, Minnesota. Oh, yeah, they all apparently talk like that out there, don't you know? And they offer you waves and sheets of ham.
Well, and actually, that right there is argument that it's probably going to be borderline funny. Because they're right there on the border of Canada. And Canada is where all good comedy comes from.
Right.
That's where we imported William Shatner from.
Yeah. Didn't we also get Bieber from that?
Well, we don't talk about the failure.
Ah, yes. Brian Adams. Oh, did I say that loud? I'm sorry. I'm gonna write to you. Okay, but with that in mind and aspect...
you love some Summer of 69.
Just the number, really. But,
or love some 69.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So back in '89, Comedy Central was simply known as the Comedy Channel, and they were just scrambling to get anything.
Wasn't that pre-cable? I mean, wasn't Comedy
Channel
is. Like original satellite
It
television?
really was. It was expanded basic cable back in '89, and they were just scrambling like mad just to find anything to fill. They came across the KMTA episodes, and they've been going for about 4 years strong. So they pitched him the idea, said, why don't you bring what you've got, show us what you're capable of. So you've got basically an intersperse of scripted television, riffed jokes at these bad movies, a little improv, their kind of comedy sketch gags, and what became affectionately known as Invention Exchange, where each member of the opposing side would came up with some wacky, either incredibly useful item or some sinister and evil.
Oh, yeah.
A double butt graft. That's where you graft a butt of a cat to a butt of a dog. Apparently not everyone likes that one.
No, but when you take the opposite ends, you get an excellent Cartoon Network
Well, that's
program.
true, yeah. No, I thought that was Nickelodeon.
Oh, you're right. Cat Dog was Nickelodeon.
Yeah. God, no wonder why they were so irritable. They couldn't poop. With that standing in mind,
I know
though,
I get irritable when
absolutely.
I can't poop.
But yeah, I know, because I'm sitting there thinking, going, everyone will establish like that horrific film that was made on a dare, Manos Hands of Fate, by this Texas fertilizer salesman. Admittedly, between the lack of blocking, plot development, character development, any real action going on, one could actually argue this is a textbook example on how to not to direct a film. But as it's the worst film ever, no, not even close. I still to this day wouldn't know that, though I'm kind of nudging Zombie Lake towards it.
You're saying that it doesn't fall into the category of movies directed by Uwe Boll.
That's Uwe Boll. And
no, it's not true. It's Uwe Boll. It's part of that song.
Uwe
they made
Boll,
about him. Yeah.
I don't think that works. Actually, that's kind of a tough call. On one aspect, he does have technical capabilities. And unfortunately, we're talking about Boyle at this point. Yeah. He does have technical capabilities. It's just I'm really tired of the whole let's take the camera off the stabilizer and see how many photophobics I can either put in a coma or make them projectile vomit.
No, actually, my biggest complaint is still the whole let's take a perfectly good potential script and see how much we can fuck it in the ass.
Oh, my God, right? Like a rampant rhino rape.
It's like a room.
The new catchphrase today is rampant rhino rape.
With an infinite number of monkeys that rape the writer in the ass.
I know, honestly, it's just like all they did was put some poor guy chained to the wall, jabbed him with a sharp stick, and go, keep going! It's gold! There'd be gold in them there hills. Like, no, it's crap.
And by hills, we mean his ass.
Yeah.
All right, but anyway, speaking of double asses, let's get back to the topic, Mystery Science Theater 3000.
I don't follow that correlation whatsoever.
You didn't see those circular?
No,
it just came right
no.
back.
I saw you removing the circular pattern, and when you got to the point,
back.
nothing.
Lost
Nothing.
It. All right.
From that whole standing, you've got Joel, of course, is your main host in question. His wisecracking robots, of course, been puppeted by both Tracy and Josh Weinstein. After season 2, Josh Weinstein decides, this isn't really going to take off. I'm going to make more money being on the road doing a stand-up. Best of luck with you guys. Enter Kevin Murphy, writer, editor, producer, director.
If only he had the power of...
precognition?
Yeah.
This went a lot better than I thought.
Instead of the power of hindsight, boy.
Yeah. Really? You're going to throw an obscure Marvel character at me?
Yeah, absolutely.
Damn you, sir. Hated the New Warriors.
And the New Warriors hated him. All right. But
with good reason. From with that standing, though, you also, of course, had a vacuum. Without Josh, you don't have a voice of Tom Servo, and you don't have a henchman.
No. And let's be honest, Tom Servo was one of the most popular characters of that
that little
program, honestly.
Also, that little redheaded, or that little red-topped, fat-bottom boy got a lot of love.
Yeah,
just for the simple factor, he was very irreverent, intelligent, articulate, when upon taken over by the hands of Kevin Murphy, a voice you would immediately recognize as Tom Servo for the latter years. He literally tackled this after season 3. Everyone immediately recognizes Kevin Murphy. This man could talk on the phone. He will get identified. 20 years of this concept has been here for long enough for people to go, I know that voice. With that in mind, of course, and of course Frank Conniff, another stand-up comedian / writer, improv, and the like, becomes TV's Frank. And at that point, Dr. Earhart is not even remembered.
No.
Everyone knows it's TV's Frank and Dr. F.
Well, and it stopped being competing mad scientists at that point, because TV's Frank wasn't a peer. No,
he had a fabulous head of hair, a little spit curl, very reminiscent of a certain superhero.
That's the only thing reminiscent.
But, I wouldn't constitute him as the highest of brain capacity.
No, he was definitely a lackey at that point.
But a beloved lackey. He was second banana, damn it. At best. But of course, and again, like the standing went, you had anything from the whole standing that during season 5, Joel Hodgson ends up leaving because of creative differences he and the director / producer Jim Mallon have.
Yeah.
Jim had already set up to do an MST3K movie.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the works. Joel was not in the loop. As the creator, you kind of want to have a little bit of byline with that.
Yeah, you kind of want some input.
Yeah, I can't argue with Mallon wanting to strike while the iron's hot, going, look, we've got an actual film feature waiting for us to tackle it.
Well,
why
and
not?
It's true. Once you've established that sort of gestalt, once you've got that momentum, you really have to move with it.
Well, absolutely. I mean, we're at season 5. This popularity has gone through the roof from anything from folks, quote, circulating the tapes. Mm-hmm. Yes, this is a primitive format known as VHS where people taped off of their TV and had electronic printed programming.
More importantly, you couldn't jump to the scene you liked.
Absolutely.
You sat there with the fast forward button, singing to yourself. Well, no. Actually, I had heard a rumor that actually Hodgson did not like being on camera. I don't know if you'd heard anything along those lines.
There was some stipulations that he had some indifferences about being in front of the camera. Mm-hmm. And just for the simple factor, he's playing a character rather than being himself.
Yeah.
And I can see that and going, oh, you're not really an actor. Right. Okay. Yeah. No, you're a comic. Yeah. No, I get that. And it does make sense. If you have no real aptitude for acting, it's a little weird. Oh, I beg your pardon. The Mexico has kicked in. From that standing, though, of course, we also have Joel leaving after season 5. And our head writer, Mike Nelson, ends up becoming Michael J. Nelson.
Yeah.
From the latter season 5 to all the way up to 10. And we did have a lot of transitions over for the simple fact that folks wanted to move on.
Yeah, once you got to about seasons 5 through 8, you actually had quite a bit of transition.
Oh, good Lord, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Mary Jo Pehl had already been a writer on such, and she ends up becoming Dr. F's mother.
Oh, yeah.
Pearl Forrester. Later on, we have Bill Corbett taking over for the role for Crow, as well as the Observer, the Omnipotence, or affectionately more known as Brain Guy.
Yeah, because Frank Conniff left in season 6, and in season 7, we saw...
And Tracy had gone on his way, too.
Yeah.
Yep, Dr. F had made his way off, too. So, yeah, it's just a simple factor. It was a transition that occurred. Hey, we still love this gig. However, not everyone's on board anymore.
So, yeah. Well, and that's the truth. When you know, some of our most beloved programs that we watch, and I think that is one of the essences of the cult television classic is the love of the characters that the people develop, and you don't want to see the show end, but people forget these are
hours,
these are
days.
people.
Ooh,
acting. They're producing a show, and let's be honest, how many of us imagine doing one thing for the rest of our lives?
And taking a further
never
account,
changing.
Yeah, but taking it even a further account, this is anywhere from 12 to 14-hour days that you are spending. At no point in time that means you're hanging out with other friends, family, maybe a lover. Hey, that's a nutty concept. Might want to see a wife. Then again, there might be some of these guys writing away going, nope, screw that.
I really don't know what you're talking about.
That's only because you're bitter and divorced, sweetie.
To all your kids out there, stay single. It's safer.
They'll never touch you, Sean. You're dead.
Daddy boy. Daddy.
Had to go for the Misty route. But yeah, no, on all intents and purposes, I felt it really did pop. I mean, it was primarily a factor that really helped me develop my own comedy. Just sit there and going, I mean, my folks would sit there and torment films.
Is that what's to blame for your comedy?
Absolutely. That's why it's gone completely down the shitter. But no, it's absolutely hilarious. Is my folks would buy up like blocks of like Roger Corman films. These old black and white ones like the Giant Gila Monster from like Ray Kellogg. Or you would see something like The Wasp Woman, oddly enough. That was a Corman film. And we would just kind of poke fun at them. And I thought that was the norm. I'd go over to other friends' houses, and they're just looking at me like, shut up, man, we're trying to watch the movie. Oh, we don't do that? Oh.
I've actually suffered 2 breakups in my history due to the fact that, I can't stop making fun of movies as I watch them.
See, I figured this was just going to throw me in. It's like, yeah, I was in there until Jake wouldn't shut up to the fucking film. The girl got annoyed with him, then she got annoyed with me. Then I had to choose again.
Yeah, why do I keep choosing you all the time?
You just can't quit me, Sean.
You
just can't quit me.
There's no shame.
Now, where's that roll of duct tape?
No, actually, interesting enough, I'd read in an article with Wired magazine actually that Hodgson actually wanted to reboot MST3K.
It has been in the works for about 6 months now.
Yeah.
He's even talking about linking up with this really great program. Mm-hmm. It's called Incognito Cinema Warriors XP.
Oh, yeah.
And it is a web-based equivalency of MST3K. The subtle difference is these guys are hiding out from the zombie apocalypse in a movie theater. So you got your wacky characters, your wacky robots, and the like. Very similar in the standing. Mm-hmm. But again, this isn't as PG-13. And folks, if you love video game referencing, music referencing, literal referencing, film referencing, I highly recommend you look these folks up. They are part of Agony Wolf Media. The gentleman in question running is named Rick Wolf. Again, this kid is a very talented writer, and I can say kid because he's younger than me. But he's a very talented writer. He's a decent musician. He has had a blast with this stuff. They're almost through their second season, and they are nickel and diming this. They have been surfing this, literally crowdfunding. And honestly, it is completely worth your time if you like that same level of ridiculousness. But, I wish to God I could get those guys some money. They're like, here, please, fund the hell out of them. It's been hilarious. I've only been up to the second season. Right now, you can catch them riffing on Resident Evil's reboot. And you can find that on YouTube right now. It's totally available. It's a freebie, and it is fucking hilarious.
Well, that's like the new frontier of this type of programming as well. I mean,
I know.
Isn't that where Mike Nelson went to with riff tracks?
Well, initially he did do a lot of them. I mean, he'd already gotten a stamp. He and the gang went to the setup called the Film Crew.
Yeah.
Where again, all they did was riff on horrible movies, and he started doing it singular, and riff tracks became just a little over 8 years ago. I want to say 8 to 9.
Around 2006.
Okay.
So,
all right. So,
9 years
just
ago.
a little 9 years ago,
Wow.
he came with this concept to just simply let you buy the audio track. Yeah, you're already watching this crappy movie anyway. Why not enjoy it? The first one I encountered was odd enough at a Big Lots. And I found riff tracks, and it's The Night of the Living Dead, which I can watch that one to death. I don't care. Between however many horrible token jokes they make for poor Ben, to the fact that Judith O'Dea's character is like, in her continental world. They mocked her horrible wig that didn't match her hair. But they had a blast with it, and there is so much to tear apart.
Oh, and don't forget... if you get the chance to go out there and hunt down the San Diego Comic-Con 20th anniversary, I believe it was 25th reunion of where they had the entire MST3K cast, both previous and later seasons.
So you have literally the collection of Cinematic Titanic and riff tracks, which all were MST3K.
And of course, don't forget to add the fact that all of this was hosted by Patton Oswalt,
who must have had an absolute freaking blast.
Oh, you know it.
Well, come on.
If you've ever listened to Patton Oswalt's comedy,
he's roughly what, maybe 2-3 years older than us, tops, and you're going, oh yeah. Well, I know exactly what pools you dabbled in, sir. And all of them were medicinal.
Oh, yeah. Well, and his whole comedy styling follows that same sort of irreverent style that everybody loves about MST3K.
It's a wacky nerd.
Oh, yeah.
But, I think we've been rambling enough about MST3K.
Well, and
Winky Pooh.
And it does, though. It does point out one of the key... foundations of what makes something a cult classic. I think in the research that we've done on the topic, just in the 12 hours that we dedicated to actually preparing for this podcast.
I didn't know how to tell you.
All right, let's be honest. We're making this up as we go along.
I don't know how to tell you this, but I was speed reading for like the last 5 minutes to keep up. Yeah. And there was a great Bruce Campbell quote, but I'll be damned if I remember it.
Yeah, exactly. But no, a lot of times. Things that qualify as a cult classic television program are just that. They're irreverent. They're anti-establishment. They tend to push standard tropes for programming in the mainstream. A lot of people like to place the label on it that a cult classic tends to be, and I'm going to make air quotes here. I'm telling you because you can't see it.
It's a
program that's too intelligent for the masses.
I love that.
That I argue. That's that sort of nerd masturbation that says we're special. We got beat up in high school, but it's okay because
we're vastly more intelligent.
We're vastly more intelligent. And that's why we get this program that nobody else likes. No. You're wrong if you're home.
I would argue it's mainstream versus indie. Mainstream establishing something on the basis of a good brand, while it may feel like it's just a little too intense. You take something like along the lines of ABC is a great example of that, or actually, you know what? NCIS. We'll use that. So everyone's hip to this. This has been 11 seasons now.
Oh God, when will it end?
I know, right? But at the same time, there are facets of it where I'm like, I can't really give that up. The problem is with these particular programmings is it's so black and white. The good guys have to be good. The bad guys have to be sinister, and the situation has to be above and beyond, over the top. You're going, if anyone had to reside in this level of stressful environment 24/7, they would have snapped. In that same argument, you could say that about something as well known as like Stargate.
Yeah.
Like Stargate SG-1, at least the first team alone should be basket cases. Aliens have taken over them. They've been violated by technology. Some have died. Some have came back. I mean, it's like literally this one team is the X-Men, and everyone else is just, secondary new mutants?
Pretty much, yeah.
It was ridiculous.
Well, I think, let's be a little honest, though. When you say you'll never get enough NCIS, what you really mean is you'll never get enough, what's her name, Polly Perrette?
That doesn't really do that much for me.
When did you lose your testicles? When did you stop
I'm
being a
dating.
guy? I mean, have you seen?
Yeah, it's just attractive. Don't get me wrong. I'm not losing my shit over
But
it, though.
actually, you make an interesting point with talking about SG-1 and how that first team should have gone completely nuts, because
crackers.
That actually leads into a cult classic program in which they do deal with the fact that, that level of stress over and over and over again does drive you crackers, with the TV program Farscape, which I believe we can be honest when we say that John Crichton or John Crichton's clone or any of the alternate John Crichtons out there, we're batshit crazy in 1 or 5 or 26 different points in the series.
Oh my God, the weird shitometer just kept hitting and burying the needle. At the same time, you had such good writing, well-established characters, phenomenal effects,
and of
course, the Henson.
I was going to say
production.
the addition of the Henson Company, providing the alien puppets and costumes.
Brian Henson absolutely emphatically understood his father's legacy. And what was so funny is it took them, 12 years to pander that film?
Oh, yeah.
And they had most of season 1 written. That was the best part of that. Meanwhile, they're doing their usual projects, like, you need some creatures. Yeah, no problem. Hey, did I mention about this project? The way he sold it, it was astounding. He sold it to the Kiwis, sold it to the States, sold it to the Brits, had 3 completely separate municipal amounts of funds and different time sets, thus linking up to sci-fi, which, well, as we know, sci-fi is more fascinated with really bad CGI creatures these days.
That's true. It was
and
really outside,
pretty boys.
Really outside of sci-fi channels.
Really out of their comfort norm.
Yeah.
Hey, this is intelligent.
Wait, you mean there's actually going to be a creature on the set that they
Where are the tennis balls?
Physically interact with? I don't understand.
I don't see any tennis balls. What's going on? What kind of low rent shit is this?
Wait, somebody bring in a styrofoam ball with a happy face painted on it, stuck on the end of a stick, and hold it way up here.
We're doing a remake of Phantasm?
Exactly.
That'd be fun.
I
kind of envision Brandon as Reggie, don't you?
Yeah, no.
Now the 3 of us, if you just kind of see him channeling Reggie.
Hold those thoughts until we actually get him on the program, so people have a point of reference. Yeah. But no, it was a great science fiction television series. Which, now I'm pandering to the idea that all cult classics are sci-fi or fantasy in genre, and they're not. But unfortunately,
pander on, my friend.
Unfortunately, this is a perfect example of a cult program running from just 1999 until 2003, 2004, somewhere around there. And then because of, and I think there's some quality to the short-lived television series that sparks, I think it's the martyr effect.
Oh, yeah.
When a program dies.
In season 3, there was actually after season 2, there was literally talk of Sci-Fi wasn't even interested in season 3. And 5.6 million fans at the time lost their shit. Went, no, this is unbelievable writing. You have complex characters. You have a decent story arc. You have so many different storylines and plot holes that are still available that need to be plugged. Oh, yeah. God damn it, we want this back. And They listened to the masses. I was stunned. I'm even right there going feverishly. It's like, no, you don't understand. This is some of the best science fiction I have seen in so long.
What?
Please, dear God, no.
Do you
don't let it
remember
go.
We were right there in the cult group. We used to have Farscape night.
Absolutely.
Get together, make chili, sit down, watch SG1 and Farscape.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they were back to back, and we loved it. We didn't even give a shit that we're watching the repeats again. But you know what? I must have missed something between chili night.
Oh,
Woo.
God. And with Farscape, you could miss something. You know, I've gone back and I've even watched it recently on Netflix because the entire series is there on Netflix.
Thank God. Yeah, I had to go buy mine.
Just waiting to make you want to kill yourself at the end when you go, no! Tell me how it all ends!
Sean, it's very simple. Crackers. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. Well, but, you know, luckily, and another aspect of the cult TV program is, as with several different cult TV programs, the fan base moved.
It was insane.
Heaven and earth, and they actually, the fan base and of course,
Brian Henson,
Henson, in 2007 created a made-for-TV movie to help tie up a lot of
the Shadow Wars were the Peacekeeper Wars was a 4-part miniseries because season 4 ends as abrupt as it does, and you're going, what the shit, man?
Yeah.
And he did. He shook the pillars of heaven, my friend, just to get that going. Going, no, you know what? This is my baby. This is my creation. I have all these friends. I have all these phenomenal actors and writers at our fingertips that are just getting treated like crap. Mm-hmm. No more. And that miniseries got made. And honestly, I would not blame him if he never does a single thing with sci-fi again.
Yeah.
Or at least more specifically, that channel.
Though I'm
perplexed on that.
Once more, at your local convention, this time it's WonderCon. They released the tidbit, the temptation, what's the word I'm looking for? They rekindled the hope that they're supposedly in early pre-production of a
rekindled the fire, as it were,
of a big budget Farscape movie.
Well, admittedly,
or possibly even a mid-budget.
Admittedly, I wouldn't complain, and again, that's just because I'm an old school fan in that standing. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's too late, but at the same time, I'm not sure if there's really more to cover.
Oh.
Without giving a lot of spoilers away, things kind of got tied up. A lot of retrospect for the Peacekeeper Wars.
The Peacekeeper Wars was a great project.
Oh, also, if you boys out there are feeling a little shallow and you're kind of tired of being depicted on how, I just watch shows with really hot women. Farscape, fine collection of gorgeous women.
Which, strangely enough,
you'll find a lot to say.
Strangely enough, though, if you look up their filmographies.
Mm-hmm.
It's so sad, actually. A lot of those
better
actresses and some of the actors never went on to do much of anything else.
I think really with the exception of Virginia Hay and Claudia Black, those are the two that really just popped. Meanwhile, everyone else kind of dragged behind. I absolutely loved Claudia Black's character in Stargate.
Oh yeah,
she's a former Gold host, confidence trickster, just brilliant, and a completely separate from the character she had been playing on Farscape, who has to be this stringent military-based commando.
Oh yeah, and
who
then to go
slowly opens up and has a soul. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
she only needed to know those Earthman abilities called kissing.
But yeah, it was sad. The Anthony Simcoe that was Caldago. And Gigi Edgley that played the absolutely delicious.
I love Pip. Chiana was so much fun because you're just sort of going, this is just a 20-something kid that is experimenting with everything. It's like, what is that, a handful of mushrooms? What is that, hallucinogenics? Hey, I'll take both of them at the same time. What the fuck? The kid was just so much fun at the same time.
Cake stands are for pussies.
Oh, at the same time, you could also just see how much anguish was on her soul, too. This is why she was the party girl.
Well, yeah, she was broken.
She's sci-fi Mary Jane Watson.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, I could just cry.
Constantly pining for her missing older brother.
Mm.
Or even, for that matter, Paul Goddard, the actor that played Stark, the guy with the half mask.
Oh God, yeah, that man was so much fun. The introduction to his character alone, though, I was like, my side, your side, my side, your side. That bit alone, I'm dying. I'm going.
Which, yeah,
as an actor, you're alone. You're just going, I have to keep a straight face while he's doing this shit. Oh God.
That's true. So yeah, you make a good point. It was not just Crichton that was repeatedly off his nut. As a general rule, all of these characters were at 5 or 6 times in the series absolutely batshit
Actually,
insane.
I think my favorite of the lot still is, of course, going to be Wayne Pilgrim's Scorpius.
Oh,
I loved Scorpius. Scorpius was a quintessential villain in the same fashion you got from Darth Vader.
Oh yeah,
it was his presence, it was his intellect, it was just how you could really get the vibe that he will stop at nothing to meet his goal. Even if that means flailing, I don't know, a box full of puppies alive. You know, you're just sort of going, you are one cold, methodical son of a bitch. And yet, very charismatic in the sense that I'm listening to you.
Oh, yeah.
Keep going.
Well, and actually, the nice thing is, Wayne Pilgrim was an amazing actor, too.
I know,
he
was
delivered
astounding.
A great performance. Cold, contained rage. There are actually a lot of levels to the Scorpius character that were just amazing. But, I mean, that's a man that actually did do quite a few things. I mean, you probably can think of it. He was in the most recent Star Wars trilogy.
That's right. That's right.
Revenge of the Sith.
How sad for him.
Yeah, right.
Bastard. Run away.
And from the Lost TV series.
Yeah,
which is another example of a cult classic, but one that we're probably not going to get into as much.
Well, I don't know how to state this. I watched about 3 episodes in season 1, and I came to this very amazing conclusion, this epiphany, if you will. I didn't care. I really... That's a sad part, too, because I'm like, oh, Terry O'Quinn's in this, and everything Terry O'Quinn does is just gold. I saw that with the fucking Stepfather, which, dear God, if you've ever seen this movie, and you didn't involuntarily have a little bit of pee in your pants... You have no heart and soul. That man will scare the crap out of you just being himself.
Well, you know what they say. Lost is just too big.
Really? I thought it was all on an island. So
no.
It's kind of actually condensed.
Too many characters. Too many plot. No, I'm kidding. Kudos to all of you out there that love Lost. I understand it's an amazing program. And
yeah, I was told that about the new Hawaii Five-0 too. And again, I'm not interested in fracking Cylons.
No, there's nothing good that can be said about the new Hawaii Five-0.
You know, my folks say otherwise, but again, it's just really not my cup of tea. And frankly, who was cooler than Jack Lord? Come on, he was the man.
True. Yeah. He was the quintessential 1970s man that drank too much and beat his kids, but
yeah. What is Bing Crosby? Sorry, I couldn't resist.
Fair joke.
Well, no, but by that basis of it, what can make a show is you take away, you have a large crew, and then you take it away.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do this some basis. What good example
what are we talking about? Game of Thrones here? You start out with a large cast,
there you
and
go.
You just murder them all. I
wasn't quite thinking of anything incestuous, blatant boobs and dongs every 12 minutes. Thank you,
That's
HBO.
Not true. It's mostly boobs. There's not.
Thank you, HBO.
Dongs.
We're aware that you can do full frontal nudity on both sexes, and I still don't care. Because most of this stuff derived from books, and those that enjoy to read probably want to visualize without having, Bob and Harry man-ass every 12 minutes.
Actually, though, a side note on the whole full frontal nudity that HBO can do, in one of the more recent episodes of Game of Thrones, and I cannot remember the actress's name. She plays Cersei. She was in Terminator TV series.
Oh, Leanna Headley.
Yes, thank you. And,
Shocking enough, I knew who it was.
Yeah, good job. That's what you're here for. Okay, but no, in keeping with such classic body swapping and body doubles as from like Flashdance and the famous butt double of Flashdance.
Yes.
She apparently did not actually walk nude through the entire last episode of Game of Thrones. It literally was a body double that they superimposed her face onto.
Ah, the old Captain America maneuver.
And I say kudos to her. Kudos to her. Because
why not?
If so, then I think she's the only character that hasn't
has been flashing her cans every 10 minutes.
Yeah. She's like, I'll do a nude scene,
at the
but
time
it won't
of her
actually
choosing.
be my nude body.
Well, that's not entirely true. She's done a couple that I'm aware of for that unfortunate piece of shit horror film. What was that? Chrome Skull, I believe it. No, Laid to Rest. Yes, Chrome Skull is its unfortunate sequel. No, she. No, it was just a quick flash through the road, kind of a fan.
If it's an unfortunate sequel, is it directed by Yule Buell?
Amazingly enough, no. But this kid was just as painful. But no, yeah, like I said, it was still tastefully done.
Yeah.
Not technically necessary, but just like quick flash out of the robe, and that's about it.
Oh, just a quick just a quick
quick nip slip here and there.
Little
that was about
side
it.
boob, like in
nothing too extravagant to lose your mind over. But with that standing, no, I found it amazing that while HBO does have the ability to keep cranking out these archetypes, I'm just wondering what timeline do they end at? We've had Sopranos, we've had True Blood, we've had Deadwood, we've had Game of Thrones. I'm waiting for what? We've done everything old timey.
Yeah.
How about something 1920s? Throw that out. It's just El Chupacabras.
Yeah,
it's still the Mexican territory. You have Pancho Villa happens to actually be a freedom fighter against not only the Federales and the Mexicanos, but he also takes out the El Chupacabras. I mean, why not? But there will be plenty of tits and ass in that too. Don't worry.
Actually,
fret not, friends.
Anytime you talk about tasteful and sparse side boob shots in a film, I immediately always think of Rutger Hauer's Split Second and the shower scene there. Completely pointless. Completely pointless to the film at all.
No reason for other than going, look, Kim Cattrall can still keep her figure because she has a ridiculous workout regimen.
Yeah.
While I appreciate that, good for her, keeps the heart going. Really, absolutely unnecessary.
Kim Cattrall actually never really did it for me.
You say that now.
I know. I am drawing the ire of all of my peers.
A jug of margaritas and a back rub later. You'll see other things. So anyone wants to volunteer to do that, I'm not.
That's
really.
just because I'm a guy. That has absolutely nothing to do with Kim Cattrall. Yeah. But
well, on the basis of it, my biggest problem is a lot of these series have too many actors or too many characters, too many backstories. I mean, I admittedly, while hitting stuff like sci-fi comedy and whatnot is a weird concept, it really frees up your writers. You're going, ooh, we could do this for the backstory, or we could have them interact in this.
Are you saying you want to go back to small casts like Greatest American Hero and Remington Steele?
I was thinking something more along the lines of actually going further back to like something along the standings of like Man from U.N.C.L.E. or Dark Shadows. Yeah. And the standings that we can still build on these characters, but at the same time, you don't have to have a fraction of the interaction making it a whole worldscape. Or you could do something as simplistic as what Rob Grant and Doug Naylor did and do Red Dwarf.
A great program.
I mean,
very small cast.
Absolutely. I mean, you had what looked like a cast of 30-some-odd people in the first episode. Mm-hmm. And 3 million years in deep space, they have a radiation leak. Wipes out the entire frickin' crew.
And let's just be clear. It's not really an accident per se.
Well, you could say it's fate, Kismet, however you want to look at it.
And that's one topic that you'll find if you investigate this. Our next title in the cult TV topic is recursive.
Oh.
Recursive is a theme in Red Dwarf.
Or my personal favorite.
Everything keeps coming back to itself, and these two characters that are cursed by fate, by destiny,
it's
interact.
Fate playing silly buggers with us, with you, with me. Yes, it all coalesces. It all coalesces back with Douglas Adams' warped writing. No, what I thought was absolutely hilarious though is the whole basis of it. You've got, and for those folks that aren't hip to Red Dwarf, seriously, where the hell have you been? This has been around since '89. Come on,
it's been on PBS.
Wake up, people!
PBS was PBS.
Yeah, exactly. It's been with PBS since '92. That's how far back it is. That would be 1992. In case any of you felt the sudden to interject something amusing.
In time? What?
Yes.
Where were they going?
Yeah, exactly.
1892.
Absolutely, it could have happened.
All right.
Could have been a time riff and a space-time continuum hiccup, and left a hole in the space-time continuum the size of Belgium.
Subculture is cool, but no. No one was watching programs in 1892.
That's not true. There was probably minorities being beaten by cops, going, "Oh, look, he's putting up a struggle."
Wow, we've gotten off topic.
Oh yeah,
Red
got
Dwarf,
a little dark
anyway.
there. Red Dwarf. So, a ship that's been sent 3 million years into deep space to subvide a mining vessel that had a severe radiation leakage. The only survival is the lowest rung on the ship's tally. Lack of ambition. The guy chain smokes, drinks, scratches himself, and I think has subjected every ounce or simple facet of his body with curry.
Yeah. He injects.
Thank God this ship is 5 miles long. That fart could go on.
If the BBC would have let them get away with the guy snorting coke, he probably would have been.
He'd be doing lines of it.
He did every substance that could destroy his body.
But that was the whole beauty of Dave Lister, the last human being. With that along, well, as you have a hologram of his former bunkmate. So yes, he shares a room with a dead man.
And superior.
And technical superior. A guy with such a Napoleon complex that he cannot see beyond his own ridiculousness, lack of ambition, and or any semblance of order.
Well, I wouldn't say lack of ambition.
Oh, he has plenty of ambition, just no drive.
Yeah, he's got no ability, zero ability to achieve it, and absolutely no sense of
self-awareness, really.
Well, I was thinking culpability.
Yeah, I can see culpability being a factor.
What is it? I take away reason and accountability. There's the word I'm looking for. Accountability.
You were trying to create a woman?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Nicholson might argue
that's
with
weird
that.
science. That's different. But yeah, no, it's acted by Chris Berry. His nemesis and best friend throughout the entire
know that is
series.
such a weird dynamic. On one end of the spectrum, he absolutely emphatically hates Lister. He can't stand the fact that A, he's alive, B, he is somehow, the universe is so cruel to have killed off Rimmer, but let this little slug, who pretty much changes his underwear after it starts getting crusty around his midsection, and just in general, is this do nothing.
Well, and I think it's an amazing dynamic because it's a standard. It's the odd couple dynamic.
Oh yeah, it truly is. So at the end of the day, Lister is the Jack Klugman.
Exactly.
But what's so funny about this course? They also have a creature that's evolved from a domestic house cat, which is just cruelly named Cat. That's it. He's as sharp as a cat, lazy as a cat. Will probably lick himself in a facet that would probably make your eyeballs pop.
That's very true. And perfect casting, because honestly.
Well, yeah, you got a
beautiful man.
Yeah, you got this great dancer.
Yeah,
this man clearly has a dancer's build. I have never seen that strong legs on a man outside of a martial artist.
Yeah,
but that was fascinating. But the best standing of this, of course, and their service cleaning droid known as Crichton.
Oh, God.
He's a bug bot. That's right. If it needs to be scrubbed, polished, whittled down, or chiseled, there's your man. But no, actually, the funniest aspect of this is what Craig Charles, who played Dave Lister, stated.
Yeah.
He goes, one thing about the show that nobody seemed to have noticed And I myself am a perfect example.
Give into the accent as you quote.
I can't do it because I didn't have a proper accent. But no, what's so funny about it is when you think about it, both the hologram and the android, two white guys, have been subservient to the two black guys.
Yeah.
To the whole show, and you're going, I didn't even notice that.
You're right.
That's fucking hilarious. Yeah. It was absolutely hilarious. And it was just one of those things that you're just going, yeah, I can believe that. Their ship's artificial intelligence, simply known as Holly, was completely off his or her tit, depending on which version it was. You had Hoovit, who was, of course, started it.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie. I will be honest. For the longest, back when I first watched this series, I did not actually realize that
you introduced me to this
Norman Lovett, who was originally Holly, was replaced by Hattie Haybridge, who later played Holly. I actually, for the longest time, thought it was Norman Lovett in a bad wig.
Yeah, no,
I
honestly,
really did.
A lot of people said that about her comedy, too.
No offense to Hattie.
No, she's an absolutely lovely girl. But the thing is...
Well, I don't know if I go that far.
What's so funny is they literally are just... It was like flips of the same coin.
Oh, yeah.
Even their comedy is similar to that. Yeah, basically, all they did was take a bunch of stand-up comedians or folks that warmed up a room, what have you. Or as they affectionately call it in the States, the second bananas. Yeah, guilty.
Know that one well, do you?
Guilty. What that standing is, they took all these folks and they shot the show live in front of all these people. The problem was, for most of the live performances, if the gag was that good, your film's still going while you're waiting for people to stop laughing because you cannot edit it out.
This is another one though that unlike the Martyr series that grabbed a huge cult following in part because it was gone too soon.
Oh yeah.
Red Dwarf ran for 10 seasons.
It's actually, well, technically you would consider it's run for 20 seasons, but it's been sporadic as it's stereotypical English programming. Okay, we don't have the funds right now. Let's do this instead. But yeah, it technically is one of the longest sci-fi series next to Doctor Who, as far as the UK is concerned.
And actually, I just noted that it is actually officially announced that there will be
Season 11.
Yep, 11 and 12
in the works.
Are both contracted already.
I know. I thought that was hilarious.
For 2016 and 2017.
I think the funniest thing though was the two people that I would have never expected to be fans for this. It just cracked me up. One of them being Professor Stephen Hawking.
Oh
yes, theoretical physicist, cosmologist, director of the Central Theoretical Cosmology of the University of Cambridge. Yeah, you may have heard of this man. Just the whole standing of this is the guy who postulated gravitational singularity and the theory that black holes emit radiation.
He was,
But yes, he's an absolute fan because they have taken every facet of what we constitute as sci-fi fact and spun it on its ear.
And gave it the reach around.
Oh, good Lord. They just slapped its ass and called it Susan. It was the funniest stuff because, again...
Didn't buy a dinner.
No, not in the least. No sweet potato pie, not even a hug, not even a roofie drink. But the other aspect would be Sir Patrick Stewart. Yes.
Really? Sir Patrick Stewart is
an avid Red Dwarf fan. He was on hiatus after about season 3. He was back home. Star Trek The Next Generation.
Oh, okay.
So he's back home, idly flipping channels, and comes across what he describes as this low-rent sci-fi show that looks way too much like Star Trek. He's literally just inches from calling his lawyer, and then he saw something that made him laugh.
Mm-hmm. And low rent is
drops the phone, watches the rest of it, finds out who these cats are, and comes to visit. And just simply was like, he was astounded with it. And I'm going, that is funny that they found something that tickled a guy who has already been a substantial actor. Just going, why can't I do this with my work?
Well, and chances probably are that the episode that he saw was produced, some 5 years before his show was.
Yeah, it's a distinct possibility.
What, Red Dwarf started in '89?
Yeah,
I believe.
Yeah, it's like roughly the same. Actually, it's roughly about the same timelines too, when you think about it. But yeah, he probably saw something like season 2, as silly as that one. Yeah, honestly, the first 2 seasons will fucking slay you.
Unlike some other series where I would say jump to second or third or fourth season.
Nope.
Where
Start
it really
at the beginning.
hit its stride. Yeah.
Start at the beginning.
This show hit the ground running.
The less they had, the more it was.
What is that with BBC Gems?
I know.
Like Doctor Who came out
1964.
Of having absolutely no budget, just amazing writers, and a drive to produce something, while BBC One and BBC Two were like, well, here, you can have these leftover tubes and
it was
this
absolutely
bucket.
hilarious to see just how much costumes were crafted, how much they made use of rock quarries, and of course, also let's look at the. Now, this is where that region helps out better than we get. On our end of the spectrum, we don't have natural, real cave formations that are easily accessible for photography, unless you're going all the way to Griffin Park or you're making your way to what's a good example of that, Yosemite.
Well, what about out west where all the original Star Trek was filmed?
We've got plenty
of strip
I
mines.
am so sick
Strip
of
mines.
looking at Griffith Park and Paramount, because my God, that's all that's been there, from Gunsmoke, Wagon Train, Star Trek. It's sort of like, yes, I got it. We've seen these caves. I beg you, do something else. But no, look at the standing of just how many lords and manors there are. How many very different castles are still roaming around? There's a better chunk of England. You're going, you can do time period pieces until the cows come home.
That's why they said when Disney went to put a park in Europe, they're like, oh no, you have to make the castle bigger. They really have them around here. They know what they look like.
They're not as easily swayed as putting a castle in the swamp. They all said it was daft to do it. They put the watch down, that one sank. But I know, it's actually quite interesting on how these have been interpreted. Now, you were telling me something similar about this. What was the one that just really hit you? I mean, you said that this had an impact on you on some level where you're just going, this is really solid writing.
Are we talking about Red Dwarf specifically?
No, I was actually just stating in general. You were talking about a series, and my brain completely locked up on me again. I'm just going, he had something. It was poignant. Yeah. Fuck.
Well, yeah. No, actually, I think that's a pretty good standard of cult classic TV shows in general. Is the writing tends to be really well done. It tends to be the focus. It isn't the stars.
Yeah.
It isn't the.
I'm kind of sick of that.
It isn't the sets. It isn't the.
I mean, you notice that a lot of that with
special effects.
You notice that a lot with like the Roddenberry projects, where Andromeda was a big draw because, well, everybody loves Sorbo.
But no.
First Contact, another step up with that.
I know what we were talking about. We were talking about Babylon 5.
Oh, God.
A program that got very little love, but had some of the most amazing writing.
Michael
of
Strensky.
Any of the space.
Michael Strensky. Oh, my God. You know, this man wrote his own ticket. That's the only way to describe it.
Yeah, because weren't we on the segue of the Russian officer that was a security officer in Babylon 5, and she was also in a film that we were talking about.
Are you talking about Susanna Christian? Or no, that's not.
No,
Claudia Christensen. Sorry.
Yeah. What film was it that we were talking about? It because she was on Babylon 5 for what, 4 seasons? And
yeah. It's Claudia Christensen, but she was like the second in command.
Yeah, and she left under that scandal and.
No. Oh yeah. We were talking about that Gone and Never Seen Again concept. Yeah. No, she was
no
actually.
one ever talked about.
Yeah, no, she was Psychor. In that
That's right.
She was a commercial telepath. Telepaths were widely used to differentiate whether or not you're getting a fair deal. And anyone could realize that they're not paying these people off. They truly are operating within neutrality and making sure everyone's making a proper commerce. Nobody's getting screwed. Everyone's getting a decent deal. Yeah, but no, it was absolutely hilarious is because they created her character as a double agent.
Yeah.
And the personality that Ivanovich was hanging out with wasn't even real. It was just a mask. The actual one was just cold as ice. But after like 3 episodes, this is season maybe 2,
was it 2?
3? I want to say.
Can't remember.
I want to say it's latter 2.
Yeah, Susan Ivanovich was the character. And
well, that's Claudia Christensen's character. Yeah,
exactly.
Who, by the way, is just as lovely up close and personal.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. She's an adorable and drop dead gorgeous. Yeah. She really is. Yeah. Just Absolutely.
But
not in this character. Not with the.
I gotta say this:
severe,
that woman has got time for her fans.
Not with
this poor guy that was ahead of me. He's just like, it was like the overexcitable Mexican routine here that Sandler did. Oh, I was just, he could not even get a proper sentence out, and she was very patient with him. I was just sitting there going, well, on one end of the spectrum, that's probably not a bad thing. The other end of the spectrum, this is probably a woman that's already had this happen a few dozen times anyway, so not too surprising. But no, the biggest factor that I loved about Babylon 5 is you had so much going for it. There was always story. You had your main story arc, you had your secondaries, you had all your character development occurring.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But the biggest factor of this, it's all a nice slow progression. You know about the main events that are coming this way. There might be an impending war there. We have conflict over here. It's none of this bullshit where they're establishing like Starfleet going, yep, everything's quiet in this sector until over there. It truly showed negotiation tables being just violent as so much as a las weapon drawn out. You had political coups occurring in known governments. You had literally rivals for power. There was mining arguments. You had species of aliens that are strip mining ships. You got pirates. You've got all these facets that are occurring. All the while, it's still a fairly even keel show, and as much as it could be, grounded in reality.
Oh no, it was definitely possible to identify with a lot of the characters on the program, and the nice thing is, while it was such a large cast, no one was left being one-dimensional.
Nobody was left behind.
Yeah, no one was left. There was no character left behind.
I still love the fact that guest star, you got to see June Lockhart.
Oh, yeah.
I'm so good. You went and hung out with Billy Mummy. Don't lie. Don't lie. You went to see that little redheaded pixie and give him a visit.
Oh, gosh. Which I always remember the captain, or the, was it captain? I can't remember what his rank was.
Seen Captain John Sheridan?
Yeah.
Bruce Balksner?
Later, of course, showed up in one of my favorite, again, martyred cult classics.
Tron Legacy.
GCB. Actually, Good Christian Bitches was an ABC program that came in.
Different.
Yeah, it came in as a mid-season filler for Christina Ricci's failed Pan Am series. And
yeah, that went nowhere.
That one failed, and then GCB produced maybe 10 episodes and proceeded to fail as well, mostly due to the fact that a lot of the Christian right was offended by.
They're always offended, though.
Yeah, well, I mean, the title alone, "Good Christian Bitches," gave you an idea of what the show was about. But no, Boxleitner was a retired Texas oil man in that.
Well, you know what? I guess what really blew me away about the series is you had 5 seasons, 7. Made-for-TV movies, which in no way, shape, or form, even with the graphics not being up to date to now, I still love. They tried a spin-off, but they waited way too long. They're at season 5, and they're going, oh, now we're going to do a spin-off of it. Like, nope, it's very simple. Follow the Whedon formula. By season 3, if you've got enough pull-in, throw out a new one.
Yep. They, however, would have been loved by the Sci-Fi Channel because they used no practical effects at all.
Yeah,
it was all
true.
CGI.
Oh no, that's not entirely true. I mean, the basis of the suits, costuming.
They had costuming. That's true, but none of the full-on monsters or. Most of them.
Yeah, most of them. Again, you had the practical effects, and you had a few prosthetics and what have you. Even with the encounter suit for the Vorlon, in all intents and purposes, it was pretty much makeup derived. But there wasn't a lot of creatures made by that standard that weren't CGI.
And of course, all of the space scenes were computer.
I think the biggest factor for me, I am incredibly, I'm going to find the shocking. I'm an incredible sci-fi nerd in that endeavor, but it was seeing It was seeing certain physics.
What?
Certain theoretical physics manifest
Yeah.
I mean, the basis of that is the classification what the Babylon 5 station was.
Yeah.
It's based on this physicist named Gerald O'Neill, who hypothesized that an electromagnetic field could create artificial gravity so long as the cylindrical objects were constantly moving, hence the rotation of the effect. And again, that's where it really hit for me, showing Newton's physics.
Oh, yeah.
In the Star Furies, how they would brake, how they would fly appropriately, how they could stopgap flight, and you're just sort of going, "Oh my God, this is actually being incorporated." And I'm probably the only one nerdy enough to acknowledge
as opposed to Deep Space Nine that didn't follow any of those.
Oh,
rules.
good God, not even close. Yeah, I'm sorry. And while I have a love for Star Trek, their total lack of actual facts are what really just make you go, "Oh yeah, so we just did that theoretical thing we did last week, and that should work out just fine."
What, you mean to say that it's not realistic that a weird stranger should come along and pick up a little boy and want to take him off alone into the universe? That seems...
No, actually, it's pretty common. If the boy resides in the UK, then he's fine.
And if the boy winds up dead somewhere a couple of years later,
well, yeah,
definitely, exactly. That's more realistic.
Now, what I just thought was funny is the guy had Stronowski had this thing about every MacGuffin or plot device.
Yeah.
It always had to be of a mystical quality. That's what I thought was hilarious. Like every source, every item, every artifact, every totem, talisman, blade, axe, what have you, it all had to have some basis in one of the aliens' theologies.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what I thought was so funny, because he would literally have, "Oh, wait, let me open my ancient tome." And this thing looks just old as dirt as he's just carefully scrolling through.
I'm going to eat my noodles with these ivory toothpicks. Wait, no, you have offended 6 different races. Because
did I say those were my ivory toothpicks? I'm sorry. I meant the bones of my enemies. This was made of their rib meat.
Actually, though, Babylon 5 made it to number 16 in TV Guide's top 30 cult classic programs. And on that note, the topics, some of the shows that we've already talked about, Stargate SG-1, as you mentioned, was actually number 28. Another, I know one that either you know and love or you've never heard of it before, Firefly, came in at number 25. Doctor Who, which we just mentioned when we were discussing BBC's budget issues.
Oh, Lord.
Surprisingly enough, came in number 22.
That's actually kind of surprising. You would think it would be a little higher.
You would have thought that would be higher. It was actually beat out in number 21 by Freaks and Geeks, which I know is a show that you were just talking about. And the
I can see a certain love to that. Again, this is another one that I like to refer to as season 1.
Oh, yeah.
That's all they get.
That's the Judd Apatow stable.
It was impressive.
You know what, though? I don't think got enough love. People always talk about, the Judd Apatow stable and Freaks and Geeks, and you forget all about Undeclared.
Oh, Undeclared was just
Undeclared was everybody that was later going to be in Knocked Up.
Yeah, it's absolutely hilarious.
Every single actor.
I know, it's absolutely hilarious, and it was that same level of just cryptic and snarly writing.
Oh, yeah.
The great response time for everyone, and you're just sitting there going, why is this getting treated to the level that it is?
Oh, and that was another one I think only made it one season, didn't it?
Yeah.
Well, and the nice thing
the man should have just stuck with film to begin with.
The nice thing about Undeclared that I felt was it went for the college humor standard, but then it took that standard and it tipped it sideways a little bit. You didn't have all frat party jokes and
no. Amazing.
It wasn't Animal House.
They could have gone completely dick and fart joke route with that, and they actually managed to put a little spin and some sophistication to it, and create and show that these kids weren't so one dimensional.
Oh yeah.
We're just horny teenagers. I'm like, yeah, they are, but they also have more going on.
It wasn't all parties and sex. I mean, they talked about...
Sometimes these kids gets to study.
Sometimes the joke was about gaining that extra freshman 15. But, but really surprisingly, when you get into the list of the top 30, is that Family Guy topped out Babylon 5 at number 15. And Pee-wee's Playhouse came in at number 12. Do you remember Pee-wee's Playhouse?
Sir, I remember who Cowboy Curtis is. Of course I know who Pee-wee's Playhouse is.
And Pee-wee's Playhouse topped out your Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Now, I could see that in the grab bag. Of course, that's kind of an unfair advantage when you think about Pee-wee's Playhouse was generally directed towards kids.
Yeah, that's true.
Until Nurse Nancy. Yes, you apparently, if you're a child's host on a program, don't go to a porn theater. It will burn you.
That's fair. Nobody wants to remember that
the
kid that interacts with the guy that interacts with their kid every Saturday morning.
I'm talking about Pee-wee.
Might actually jack off or or think sexual thoughts of any kind whatsoever.
What still cracks me up is a lot of people had no idea who the hell Cowboy Curtis was. That's Lawrence Fishburne, folks. Right. Lawrence Fishburne is the bravest black man I've ever seen to dress up in that ridiculous outfit and cut a check.
Long before he was Neo.
Long before he did know Kung Fu.
He knew 6-shooters.
And Pee-wee's propensity for adult theaters.
He knew 6-shooters, he knew Spurs, and he knew what the secret word of the day was.
So did Cherry. Oh, dude, that voice is kind of annoying.
Yeah. But yeah, no. Actually, the top 10 cult classic TV shows of all time were Xena Warrior Princess, number 10. Number 9, Twilight Zone.
Oh, I can understand that. And this, of course, is the original Rod Serling.
Oh, yeah, the original.
Oh, thank God. My heart had a little palpitation there.
You find yourself walking down a road. To your right is a road sign. The road sign points to a stairway that goes down into nowhere. Suddenly there's an eyeball. Strange things are flowing by. You realize you're in the Twilight Zone.
I have another dimension.
A dimension not only of sight, but also of pointless metaphors and moral statements.
Quite a few idioms.
Yeah. But no, Twilight Zone, the 59 to 64 Twilight Zone.
Right, naturally.
The Simpsons, surprisingly.
Did Night Gallery get on there?
No, Night Gallery did not get on there at all.
Bastards.
But Dark Shadows, 66 to 71, came in the high 20s though.
Yeah, I could see that.
Dark Shadows, number 23, but it beat out Twin Peaks.
I find that kind of hard to believe. Twin Peaks had its own, I don't want to say macabre group, but it was.
Yeah, Twin Peaks.
David Lynch literally created something brilliant.
Yeah.
And I loved Kyle MacLachlan standing on that and his particularities for his coffee.
Brilliant, but I'm not going to lie. I had trouble following Twin Peaks.
Yeah, there was a few where you were hitting a brick wall there.
I am literally lost. Not lost like, number 5 on the list.
Or
lost,
Horatio.
But yeah.
Yeah, let me just ask you this. How come the fat guy was getting fatter if they're all starving on the island?
He ate the polar bear.
I knew it. He ate people.
He was the polar bear, actually. Where polar. But no, scary. Simpsons number 8. Then, believe it or not, The Prisoner came in at number 7. Followed by Monty Python's Flying Circus. No one's surprised by that at number 6.
Nobody expect number 6 to happen.
Lost at number 5. Number 4, Farscape, which we talked about being absolutely brilliant.
Baby.
Then, of course, would anyone be surprised to know that Buffy the Vampire Slayer came in at number 3?
Not surprised in the least. Actually, kind of stunned that it wasn't at 1 for a cult classic.
And actually,
I can't help but just pat Joss in the back more and more.
Number 2, X-Files. And of course,
up into season 5. Yeah, I agree.
And of course, number 1, Star Trek in all of its generations. But it's interesting, actually, about number 2 being X-Files, is that one of my favorite cult classics was actually expected by Fox to be the hit show for that particular year.
Don't tell me the Lone Gunman.
And X-Files actually was the surprise breakaway hit that got it booted off the air. The creator of the V miniseries went on to create Alien Nation.
Oh, yeah.
The Alien Nation television show.
That was not a bad TV series.
It really
wasn't. And I felt it kind of got wrong. In the same aspect, the cat that was playing Sykes really evolved well beyond James Caan's portrayal of this just racist. I go, wow, you're a racist cop. I'm stunned.
It started out as a really dark sci-fi movie. Actually, really dark.
Wasn't Mandy Patinkin in that
Yeah.
too? He was George San Francisco.
Yeah.
Oh God.
The names they gave those people.
Yeah. You couldn't miss the behemoth of a man. What was that? Brian Thompson. That character actor, I swear, that man has donned more armor, brandished more swords, guns, the like. You cannot help but have found him. You would have found him as Shao Kahn in the unfortunate sequel of Mortal Kombat. Annihilation.
Such a great movie.
So much flipping. God, there was more flipping than I'd seen in a presentation of the Nutcracker Suite.
Yeah, it ran for one season from 89 to 90.
Sci-Fi really plugged the hell out of it in the day, too. They were just absolutely trying to go, hey, well, they kept rerunning it.
Alienation?
Yeah,
after it was no longer with Fox?
They kept rerunning in hopes that it would pick up. Maybe we can take it out and brush it off, scrub it down, hose it off, maybe give it some more. Didn't it also have some TV films with it, too? Like 2 or 3?
Yeah, that's another example of how cult fans move mountains to produce more material, like Whedon's Serenity movie to tie up Firefly, and they had 5 different made-for-TV movies.
How do we get our fans to do anything?
Yeah, no, we got to get fans first.
Oh, right. Yeah. So just bribe them?
Start at step 1. Then
just bribe them? Yeah. Naked pictures? What? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think naked pictures of me are going to get us fans.
I've been working out. Does that help?
Okay, that.
I always have abs.
That 2-pack you got going on there.
Hey, we're up to 4, thank you. Almost 6. What do you want for 4 months? Yeah, no, seriously, that is kind of.
Oh shoot! But no, Alienation was another great example of the cult classic. Where
I'm just gonna do candid photos of me decked out as 10th Doctor.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna get our GoFundMe account to move a penny.
Speaking of what, we do actually need to work on that.
Actually, what I find is getting away from the sci-fi genre of cult classics.
Can we?
Is to go the entirely opposite route, and that's children's programming. There's a great program that Nickelodeon Australia produced for just 1 year and 1 year only. And again, might be a cult classic because of the martyr rule of television, called The Upside Down Show, which was...
that's a new one on me.
They were actually 2 physical comedians, Shane Dundas and Dave Collins.
Okay.
And if you're familiar with this program at all, it's probably because it aired over and over and over again, the same 10 episodes on the Noggin channel. It's all about these guys that just proceeded to go through different situations where they were always trying to find something, but they interacted with the kids watching the program with an invisible, fictionalized remote control.
So they're constantly breaking the fourth wall.
Yep, they were all about breaking the fourth wall. And these were physical comedians.
You sure these weren't Deadpool fans?
They were Deadpool fans. You're absolutely right. They also like to haul out the word bastich from time to time.
That's indicating
which is why their children's program only lasted one season. But no, they were...
Today we've trapped the ghost of Steve Irwin.
No, they were physical comedians and I guess practitioners of mime, for lack of a better word. Most of the things they interacted with in their program were all imaginary. They encouraged kids to imagine by interacting with the invisible props. They did a very good job of presenting as potentially real with their skills.
Well, you're gonna have to give me a little more detail on this because I am completely unaware of this.
This is a complete sleeper program.
Oh, really?
Absolutely. But no, I'm sure you can find it on Noggin. It was produced back in 2006 and canceled in 2007. And I really don't know what else to say about it other than it's a really underappreciated program that has a tight cult following among people with kids who as my son did, spent way too much time watching the same 6 episodes over and over again, until the fact that I could probably, run through every episode.
Quote them back to back.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's the factor that I have been subjected to less television. Or more specifically, like less children's program, because I lack a little one to do that with. The cats look really bored at that shit. Yeah, that's great, but you have no idea how enticing licking my own ass is.
Really? I thought you insisted that they watch all of the episodes of the Super Mario Brothers program.
Oh, I wouldn't do that unless I'm interrogating Al Qaeda or ISIS at that point. Nope, still not talking. We'll get to this really bad manga one.
Really? Because I thought Captain Lou Albano as Mario was just absolutely amazing.
I was. This should give you an idea of how perverse your mind gets, because I was convinced that was Ron Jeremy the first time out. I went,
oh yeah.
No, that's not. No, that's not the hedgehog. I'm sorry. Ooh, wow, went to a dark place. Hey, kids, want to come down and play in these tubes? Well,
I'm a plumber. I fix the pipe.
I'm all about changing and plumbing and pollution. Yeah, I know. You could have got anywhere with that.
For it. Yeah.
Nice guy though.
Wow. Yeah.
We got a little dark there for a minute. But, no, he actually really is a nice guy. It was just hard to have a conversation with. Every 15 minutes, someone coming. Hi, I saw some of your movies. Can I see it? Can I see it? Public area. We're having a drink at a bar. Can he whip it out?
Well, yeah.
Well, he could have.
Yeah.
But there was the concerns. No, exactly. But again, he was very cool about it. I was like, hey, you know what? Here's my hotel number. You want to come by later? Yeah, you're welcome to visit. Yeah, he was very cordial about it. What was funny is they kept asking whether or not I was, are you in the business too? Like, yeah, he's just helping me with my handle here. I really need a good moniker, Think of Jake Steelhard, but I don't know. It seemed a little ridiculous.
Jake Steelhard, really?
Yeah, whereas I would have gone with something more like Ridge, Pipe, something like that. I don't know. Anywho, but now that we have rambled on and on and on.
It's been fun talking about cult shows with you.
Yeah. Not a single zombie vagina in the like. Oh, damn it!
And you had to sneak it in. No, I think
no, not with enough lube. Maybe an exorcist. Yeah.
But no, definitely. We would like to hear some of what you consider great cult television. I think Terry Pratchett said it best when he said, cult film is characterized by its active and lively communal following. Highly committed and rebellious in their appreciation, cult audiences are frequently at odds with cultural conventions. They prefer strange topics and allegorical themes that rub against cultural sensitivities and resist dominant politics.
So basically, anything that falls outside of the norm.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I could agree to that. Yeah, we missed you, Mr. Pratchett.
God bless.
Well, folks, I want to say thanks for taking time to hear us out, letting us ramble on. From this standing, we are trying to improve the endeavor. We will have our Indiegogo up in just a few more days. We're hoping to get a crowdsourcing so we can acquire more than a few items to improve upon said show.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get Thompson there, a decent microphone. I don't know. Yes, I'm mocking your snowball.
You should mock the
snowball. Grab your snowball with both hands and foist it out.
Though I will be honest, it's probably good. Otherwise, my voice can be a little booming, and it's probably kind of helping to
lower you down?
To control that a little bit. Yeah.
Yes.
That way I don't Ed McMahon it too badly.
Oh, you are correct, sir.
Very funny.
Yeah, very dry. I always kind of thought you more of a Nigel Bruce than my Basil Rathbone.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, just kind of blubbery, blusterous, and constantly confused.
It's a little flattering. Can I be the fat man to your Jake?
Oh, absolutely. Okay. Anytime. Well, folks, again, thank you for letting us ramble on.
Sounded a little like we listened to Coldplay there. Let's move
oh, God. He said the filthy word. Oh, I need a shower.
All right. But yeah, thanks for letting us ramble on. My name's Sean.
And as always, I'm Jake. You have a good one. Can't get that Sean guy to shut up.